All right, we got some major Wonder Woman news today, and we're going to talk about it. So, as we all know, Batman has Damian, Superman has John, now Diana has Trinity. Yes, Wonder Woman has a daughter. That's the big news today. That is the major news. The character will be appearing in Tom King's short story for Wonder Woman number 800, which also, fun fact, Flash number 800 is coming out that same month. So we'll have Flash and Wonder Woman having 800 issues, and then remarketed number 1. Because fuck numbering, I guess. Anyway. So, what do I think of Wonder Woman having a daughter? Well, first off, I think it's kind of obvious. Like, we gotta ask the first question. We can't go any further until we talk about, like, the big elephant in the room. Who's the dad? Now, there's two options here. There's really only two options here. Well, three. Excuse me. There's three options. There's really only three options. The third one is the tin hat one, and considering the writer, I would believe it. But as you guys know, Tom King will be writing Wonder Woman come September as part of the Dawn of DC initiative. So, first off, we're going to talk about the obvious two picks. First and foremost, it's Steve Trevor's kid. That's got to be it. But at the same time, it's like, Steve and Diana have been around for a long time. But the thing is, that kid looks pretty old. Like, you see the image, that kid looks like well into her, late teens. Maybe pushing early 20s. Although that costume is pretty fire, I'm not gonna lie. So, first and foremost, like, that's our first one. Like, with Steve is possibly the father. Because there's no other way around it. Steve would have to be the dad. Like, Steve, if it's gonna be biological, Steve's the only option. Though, third option is gonna be one, and again, we'll talk about in a bit. So, Steve would make sense, but at the same time, why would Diana hide this from Steve? Or you could say like Cersei or Ares or someone stole the baby and used magic to blind Steve and Diana from having this. I would not put it past them to do that because Tom King loves to fuck with emotions. He's like an emotional anglerfish. So there is option number one for this matter. That's the first and foremost one is that. That's the big one. Now, number two is that Trinity was created the same way Diana was originally created. From clay. That would make... that's another one, and I'm kind of leaning towards the second one a bit more, is that maybe Diana wants to have something that her friends have, families. Barry, Bruce, Clark... they all have families, whether they have adopted or not. They all have children, and I think, Diana may be feeling... And Diana's always been very maternal, but she's never had kids of her own. So, maybe she did the same thing her mother did and make her from clay. Yes, I know they keep changing the origin, but I think the made from clay thing is kind of stuck. That's the origin they're sticking with. Last I checked, I could be wrong. I haven't read a lot of recent Wonder Woman books, so for all I fucking know, they changed it again. But I'm just rolling with the made from clay one, and that's kind of the one I'm thinking of, is that Diana having one of those maternal moments. And I'm not saying she's maternal because she's a woman. It's more no, she's always had that kind of level of maternity to her, but she's never really had the option to really play with it. Mostly she's had to be the stern Amazon warrior. So maybe this time around she finally gets to be I'm going to be a mother, and makes Trinity from clay and breathes life into it like Hippolyta did for her. That's the one I'm kind of leaning towards. That's what I think might happen. And now let's get to option 3. And option 3 no one's going to like. But why do I have this suspicion that this could happen? I don't want it to happen, first and foremost. Let me state the obvious by saying I don't want this option to happen, but I do think it's possible that this could happen. What's that option? It's Ares as the father. Now hold on, I know what you're thinking. There's no way that could happen. But you have to understand that DC Ares is a bastard of a god. He is a horrendous god. So it could be that Ares... I don't even want to finish this sentence, but to carry this... That Ares sexually assaulted Diana. I don't want this one to be true, but the reason I'm bringing it, I'm saying Ares could be the father. I don't like that. I don't want it to be that, but Tom King is really good at doing emotional gut punches. So, Tom King is really good at doing these emotional gut punches. So, it would just crush, I think it would just be crushing for Diana to reveal that Ares sexually abused her and used his magic to hide it from her and hid their daughter from them. That would be horrendous. I wouldn't put it, but again, the last time, Tom King wrote a family-oriented comic was called The Visions. Was the Vision Run. We all know how that went. Yeah. So I'm leaning towards. I'm totally fine with number 2 happening. That's the one I'm kind of picking at the moment. But there's a part of me that's they would go total and that's also comics in general, especially modern day comics, where they will be yeah, we're gonna go edgelord here, and we're gonna have this as our as the thing for our character to be emotionally traumatized by, because apparently women can't just be emotionally stable in comics sometimes. Y'all should see the stuff they did to Wanda for the past 20 years. And that's just the first 20. You should see what they did every time to Wanda. And that's just one example. Anywho. So, yeah. So, that's what we're kind of playing with now, is that Diana now is a mother. And the Trinity, the new generation of the Trinity, is here. We have Trinity, John, and Damian as the era of the new superheroes, which I guarantee you will be probably showcasing in an event at some point. Now, the big thing is like I said, while Diana has been maternal, she's never really had a opportunity to really play that. She's always been Diana the warrior. She's been Diana the soldier, even some points the queen. She's never really been Diana the mother. So, goddamn flies, Jesus. There's a fly around here. It's bothering me. But yeah, that's the thing, is that Diana has never really had... It's one of those where you you want to be a mother, but you don't know what motherhood is. Trust me, I have a lot of friends who are I always wanted to be a mother, and then motherhood slaps them in the face. And to add that, we have a teenage daughter to contend with, so Diana's patience is already going to go out the window. But yeah, so that's what I'd like to see, is this mother-daughter dynamic. I am very curious to see how that will play out, but again, we got to figure out who to baby daddy. That's the big thing we gotta. That's the question on everyone's mind. I'm kind of going with the Clay arc, but the Steve and the Ares theory is a thing too. Or I just thought of the fourth one. It's not Diana's daughter, and someone's using magic to make Diana think she has a daughter. Could be that too. That's the thing, is that maybe it's maybe Cersei or someone else is using magic to alter history or something like that. I need to do a video of how much I hate the whole alter history and secret character that's been a part of the universe the whole time. I've been meaning to do a video on that, but yeah. And again, Tom King will just emotionally gut punch you, so yeah. And also, as someone who defends Tom King as a writer, I'm one of his, I will admit that his Batman run after War of Jokes and Riddles was not great. It was not good. And let's not forget Heroes in Crisis. I always talk about that. Although I always say that one's more Dan Dido than King, because Dido had to get his greasy little fingers in it in that event. Still not a good event, and King is not blameless, but he didn't get all the blame. So, yeah, it will be the first time King has come back to a comic that is an ongoing and not a maxi series, which, again, if you remember his Batman run, was good up until a certain point. And remember, it was supposed to be a 100-issue run. They cut it off. They cut that shit off at 85. So we will see how long this one goes for Wonder Woman. But yeah, so there you go, guys. But you guys tell me in the comments below. What do you guys think of Wonder Woman's daughter making an appearance? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not? And what are your theories on what the origin is? Do you think it's made of clay? Do you think she has a biological father like Steve? Or do you think it's something a little darker like Ares? I don't want it. God, I don't want it to be that. But again, comics and women, that's sometimes never a good sign. Or it could be just magic bullshit. Who knows? So yeah, you guys just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.